Welcome Dr. Shama Mohamed, the National Media Panelist of the Indian National Congress. Welcome to the Dialogue Box. We are happy that you could share some time in this program. Dr. Shama Mohamed, you have a very versatile background which we are all inspired with. I believe you hail from Kannur district of the Kerala, southern state in India. You were brought up first in Kuwait, and then later you shifted your studies to Kannur, and then you became dentist by profession. Later, I guess you shifted to Delhi, where you had a stint with journalism. Can we define your career by saying you are a dentist by profession, a journalist or a media person by passion, and a politician by choice? Your name suggests a flame. Shama means a flame. Do you believe you're a flame?
Okay. First, thank you so much for inviting me on your show. There is one small glitch about my past which you mentioned, is that I moved back to India during the invasion of Kuwait by Iraq. And I did not study in Kannur. I was in Calicut. At those days, it's called Calicut, but now it's known as Kozhikode.
Yes.
At Providence College, where I did my PU 1 and 2 together because they were not taking my CBSE results. So I had to do 11 exams in 5 months, including all my lab work of PU 1 in the PU time. So when everybody had a holiday after one exam, I had to do continuous exams in Providence College. And then I went to Mangalore to do my dentistry. So Kannur, I did not study. Yes, I did 1 year in SN College. After my Providence College education of my PU, I did 1 year degree in SN College, and then I went to my dentistry in Mangalore. Well, I truly believe that, yes, dentistry, I was good at what I did. I worked quite a bit. I was in Delhi. I worked for Z News. And then at the same time, after I worked there for a year, and then I quit and went back to dentistry also, But I must tell you, my choice and my passion both are politics and not journalism. Journalism was something it was a chance, it was an opportunity, and I took it at that point of time. But what I love and my passion is basically public service. So at the end, it is politics, and it's also by choice and my passion. And for me to tell you that whether I am the flame is not the right thing. It's what people should say. People should tell me whether it is true or not, but not me. So that is a question you need to ask the people, and not I cannot answer for that.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Shama, for your honest feedback. Something, I guess, very rare from a politician, especially nowadays. Coming to our questions, I think let's start with the media. The Indian media so far was known for its objective reporting, critical of being with the establishment's policies. However, for the past 6 years or so, we see a kind of deterioration from this tradition. Indian journalism, or rather media, being complicit with the establishment. The anchors, news anchors, and the columnists, they're not as objective as they used to be. Do you feel the same thing, since you had some interaction with the media?
Of course. I mean, it was very difficult when I started my debates nearly 5 years ago to speak, because we were always shouted down. I could not put my point. I had to literally shout to put my point across, because when I wanted to put my point across, I was put down. But that doesn't call for all media outlets. So let's not consider all of them as one. There are many who are like that, and there are some who are not like that. But that's also because of the pressure from the present government of the Bharatiya Janata Party and Narendra Modi, the NDA, or you can more say BJP. The pressure tactics put on each of the media outlets, as you know what happened with ABPP News, where two of their anchor come journalists had to resign because they said something against the PM. And the raid against NDTV, what happened with NDTV?
Right, yeah.
ED was sent over there,
Correct.
raided them. So those things where if you don't fall in line, we send the ED and income tax and we will destroy you. That is the thing. There is no media freedom. You know that our press freedom has gone down to 148 in the world. It's one of the worst. So there is no freedom of press here. It is only what the government wants you to report. And you as a media person have been seeing it. And we, in fact, before 2014, the questions were always asked to the government of the day. Why are petrol prices rising? What has happened? There is some so-called corruption. Allegations were thrown at us. So you remember the questions we were asked before that. We had to answer to many of them. And we had, even if when we had an allegation of corruption, there was accountability. Mr. Pawan Bansal had stepped down. Many others like that. Ashok Chavan, as the chief minister, stepped down. After 2611, our home minister at that point stepped down. But here, when there are allegations of corruption against Piyush Goyal and many other ministers, you remember the story of Jay Shah. Nobody can question over here. He's made a 50,000 rupees company in 1 year became 80 crores. So, and that too during the time of demonetization. And that way, the freedom of press is, I must say, is a very, very, very difficult time at this juncture in India. And I hope that changes. That's very important because it is our fourth estate. And if you see in the United States, there was a case when a CNN reporter questioned Trump. And Trump said, "Get out of here, you cannot come back to question." They went to Supreme Court. And at that point, even the right media agencies who always supported Trump, supported the journalists and the fourth estate. So that is it. You can have a democracy. You can have a prime minister who wants to be authoritative in a certain way, but you cannot do this to the press and suppress their freedom.
So do you feel this animosity towards the fourth estate, a very important pillar of the democracy, is this part of the growing intolerance that we see in the present regime's approach to the overall conditions in the society? They cannot tolerate the slightest amount of opposition in terms of media or political parties, of any activism.
Yes, definitely there's an intolerance. Also, if you see, Mr. Modi is the first prime minister who hasn't done any press conferences. Have you heard Mr. Modi doing a press conference? Yes. He only gives speeches. He has this Man Ki Baat. He gives us bhashans, basically, sermons. I would call them sermons. He comes on and gives sermons. So press conferences are very important in democracies because you have the right to question the president or the prime minister, whoever is there. In our case, it's a prime minister. Another thing which he has changed is whenever there is an official trip of the prime minister, journalists go along with him in his plane. He has stopped that. No journalists travel with him in his plane. So those things have changed now. There's a huge change in how the fourth estate is treated under the present government. There is complete suppression of the fourth estate.
Recent happenings like the manhunt of the minorities and cherry picking on certain community or the lower caste people, especially for every ill that is found in the country. For example, the recent COVID spread that was attributed towards one community's activists. We find a lot of fabricated cases being levied against the Muslim community especially. Where is this taking the country to? Are secular and our pluralistic traditions under threat? Where is India heading to in this kind of situation?
See, I condemn the fact that they attack a particular community, especially the Tablighi Jamaat, if I'm not wrong at that point of time. But having said that, the Tablighi Jamaat should not have congregated too, because they also should know that one cannot do a congregation when there is COVID. So they should have immediately cancelled it. It's always better that one does it from oneself.
Of course,
it will also give the community also a better name that what Islam preaches about these diseases. The Prophet itself said that at that time it's another disease during his time, he said there should be a 40-day quarantine, in fact.
Right.
So it's a very scientific religion, Islam. You don't need to get into this, first of course. And the number two is the Delhi police knew about it, the Home Ministry knew about it. So they should have also not let it happen. Like Maharashtra, the same Tablighi Jamaat was going to do a congregation, and the Maharashtra government cancelled the permission. So they could have also cancelled the permission. Why this double game by the government in Delhi, especially since the police comes under the Home Ministry? That is a question we need to ask Mr. Amit Shah. And then we couldn't find the Tablighi Jamaat head for many days. They were looking for him, but he was not there. So we don't know what it is. But I believe that we as citizens of India, whichever community, should take responsibility and behave in a certain manner. Like if, for example, you see in Kerala, each and every one, whether you're a Hindu, Muslim or a Christian, has taken responsibility and do self-quarantine. Very, very educated
Yes.
people and very aware of the fact that one has to do it. So that's a good example, the state of Kerala. So the state of Kerala's success in COVID is not just because of the government. It's also because of the people of Kerala,
Right.
and also because of the healthcare and education for years, which is there, and also for the fact that each panchayat is involved, districts are involved,
Yes, local
everywhere
bodies.
the healthcare is good. So it didn't happen in the last 5 years.
Right.
It is what's happened more than 40 years, the education part, as well as the healthcare system which we have. We have hospitals in every district, even every panchayat, little nursing homes. Our primary healthcare in Kerala is very good, which cannot be compared. See, India, if you look at most of the states, is missing, and which one of the reasons I'm in politics is healthcare, is primary healthcare is dismal. If you go to Bihar, if you go to UP, they'll have to go for 30 kilometers because the primary healthcare center is shut. There'll be a lock over there. So many a times children die because of diarrhea. Why? There's nobody to give them their medication as well as just a drip. When a child loses water, you need to give a drip. There has been maligning of one community, particularly under the BJP. This is because they believe like the East India Company in divide and rule. And they know the only way to go ahead is divide everybody, divide the Dalits with the rest of the Hindus, divide Muslims and Hindus. So that way, Modi has somebody to blame. So when something goes wrong for Mr. Modi, he goes and blames, there's a community to blame. So instead of getting to blame the real issue here, in that case also, one could have blamed the Delhi police. Why did they give permission? It could have been cancelled, many other things.
The strength and the power of the nation lies in the unity of its peoples. There is no point in dividing the communities based on religious lines. We need to be more focused on the economic variables, healthcare, as you mentioned. So tell me, as you hail from the state of Kerala, what do you think are the factors that the rest of the country can replicate that they find good from Kerala?
See, one of the most important factors, of course, is education. We are 94.5% literate state. The other is our healthcare. And that is these two things are not just because of one government or the other. It is because one government started it. Suppose if the Congress has started, the other government took over. And when the Congress comes back, we again continued it. It was not that this policy was started by the opposition, the government right now, and the second party did not continue. There's a continuity in healthcare as well as in education. So it was the people of Kerala, basically. You have to give it to the Kerala people for continuing this thing. As of course, the government of the day, definitely, the Congress government also has done a lot in the development of education and healthcare. They have put their heart and soul into it. So it's been the continuation. And another thing very important I would like to point out is the upliftment of Muslims here without appeasement. It's a state where the Muslims vote based on what they read in a newspaper, or what they believe, or they watch a TV and discussions based on that. Not like in the north in certain states where the Maulvi has the power to tell them this is the person or the party you need to vote for. And if you see in the Muslim community there, you have doctors, engineers, lawyers, you have people who own media houses. Educating the Muslim community is very, very important all over India, and not by just appeasing them. They need to be uplifted. And they are the poorest. They are poor, according to the Sachar Committee report, they're poorer than the Dalits in India. I think in Kerala, the Hindus are more tolerant. In Kerala, we did not undergo partition. So the hatred they have in states like Gujarat, where there is a lot of hatred between communities. And we had preachers like Sri Narayana Guru and various others who have changed the caste equation in Kerala, basically, because nobody looks down at Dalits. If you yourself came from Kerala, there is no looking down at a Dalit. Correct. We do not know who's a Dalit if he's sitting next to us is a Dalit or not.
Exactly.
We just don't care. Yes. we are brought up in such a way that it's important to respect everybody, and that is the way a Kerala culture is.
Now we are under the threat of the Chinese aggression, especially at the border facing them. The country, of course, is unified in that we need to oppose them, we need to fight them back. Well, China has transgressed the LAC by changing map coordinates. The present Indian government has been responding by banning apps. Do you feel this is sufficient, especially considering that the BJP camp always try to hijack the Indian patriotism with their muscular nationalism? They have a very toxic version of nationalism where only one interpretation which they allow for other people. Do you feel the response has been sufficient? What else needs to be done in your opinion?
Well, you see, banning apps, will we get the 60 square kilometers of Galvan Valley? No, we will not. Number one. Number two, if you're banning apps, then why haven't you banned Paytm? See, Paytm has 40% share of Alibaba, Chinese company. Paytm has got a lot of business accounts, and Paytm has got your bank accounts. So if this is for security threat and knowing the details of millions of Indians, then I think the first one should be Paytm. But of course, Paytm has given to PM CARE, a fund of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, which cannot be audited by an independent body or which does not come under the ambit of the RTI, 100 crores. Paytm funded the last election of Mr. Modi, a part of it, of course, not whole. And also the fact that TikTok has given PM CARE 30 crores.
Of course.
Xiaomi has given also to PM CARE. What is PM CARE about? Why not be transparent about it? Are these funds going to be given back? When you had a threat perception, why did Prime Minister Modi take money from these Chinese companies? Yes, banning app is, if you're doing banning of the app, then you have to go whole 9 yards and ban all the apps, but not just some. And do we get the 60 square kilometers of Galvan Valley, or for that fact, Pangyong So, Finger 4 to 8, or for that fact, now they say they are in Depsang Valley, they've gone into Depsang Valley, or the hot springs. So that's a question we need to understand from the Prime Minister and the government of the day.
Shama, one more question on our international relations before we conclude. India, past 6 to 7 decades, has not had a very good shining relations with its neighbors for some historical reasons. It has been political, diplomatic, military conflicts, of course. Do you see one fine day in the future where India would have a very peaceful, credible relations with its neighbors, whom are right now troublemakers?
So you mentioned that we have this bad relationship with neighbors. Why are neighbors troublemakers? I would not agree with that, because before 2014, our neighbors were not troublemakers. Any of them, we had good relationship. For example, Bangladesh is one of our we have very good relation. We had. Now, after the CAA was passed and the bill, Citizenship Amendment Act from Citizenship Amendment Bill, the issues were that with Bangladesh, the foreign minister just cancelled his visit here, because it is basically the home minister saying that I am going to send the termites back to Bangladesh. I mean, these are the languages he's used. Right. And also, all of these Muslim countries around us are very upset that why have they left out Muslims when they made the CAA? Every other, from Afghanistan, Pakistan, and from Bangladesh, minorities can get citizenship, but not Muslims. So what are you going to do with all the Muslims who have, a lot of them, of course, have come from Bangladesh? Are you going to send them back to Bangladesh? They don't give. They say no. But then where do they go? Are they going to live in no man's land? So these are the things, one with Bangladesh. With Nepal also we had very good relationship. But of course, the 2015 blockade caused this deterioration of relationship with Nepal. Sri Lanka also we had good relationship, but then of course the Chinese have started investing and getting important, and they're getting close to Chinese. So we shouldn't be this big brother. We should start investing in our relationship with them, with the Maldives. Pakistan has always been an issue. So let's leave Pakistan out of it, because Pakistan has always played dirty politics. It has helped, it has done terrorism on its soil, the non-state, they keep saying non-state actors, but I believe it's the state actor itself. It's the ISI which funds these terrorists. So Pakistan, definitely we need to deal in a different way. and we need to show them that you cannot keep sponsoring terror into our soil. They keep funding terrorists, and also in Kashmir, along the POK, there have been every other day militancy has gone up there also. So other than that, with Bhutan, it's fine. But I think even again with Bhutan, we recently have some issues. Government, Mr. Modi should understand that relationship is not a one-man thing. Right. It's not personalized. Foreign affairs is not a personalized thing. It is always diplomacy is involved. We have our secretaries and in the foreign service. So there are many people involved in it. There are a lot of closed-door things. You can't just fly from Afghanistan, get down in Pakistan, wish Mr. Nawaz Sharif in 2015 December, happy birthday. And then a gift was given to us by Pakistan in January 2016. That was the Pathankot attack, if you remember. And then the government of the day invites the Pakistani joint investigating team to come and investigate Pathankot. So that you're definitely inviting the perpetrators of the crime. Who has done the crime, you've invited them, you know. So that is, for me, that is anti-national. That is anti-national, according to me. Calling the Pakistanis, the ISI, to investigate. Right now, the government of the day can do anything, nobody questions them. But the Congress party and the opposition, when it's done, it's always questioned. Normally, all over the world, the government of the day is questioned by the fourth estate. But here in our country now, they are crawling, I think, so badly that the opposition is questioned every other day.
Dr. Shama Mohamed, thank you for spending so much time with us, and you are in the race to defend your party's voice and policies in the national media. We wish you all the best, and hopefully we can see you more shining, as the name suggests, Shama the Flame. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you very much.